Hello everyone, I'm Jessicat, and guess who is right next to me right now?
Well, they can't see me, but it's me. It's Wedud.
It's Wedud. For those of you who don't know him, Wedud has been around on my channel since basically the very, very early days. We've known each other for a very long time, and one of the first series on this channel was me and him doing a Let's Play together on his server. That Let's Play has since been discontinued, but we still play together every now and then, and you've seen him in other videos, such as map playthroughs, like the map playthrough we just did of Nemesis Winds of Time. That map has now been finished, although you probably haven't seen the final episode of it yet. I think I won't have released it by the time this video comes out,
Tune
probably.
tune in later for that.
Yeah, tune in later for that. We did finish the map, and the final episode is coming as soon as I can scrape together the time to edit 3 hours of raw footage. So that'll be fun. But yeah, Wedud is next to me. We're in the same room today, which is not something we often get to do. And we are going to talk about something. We're making a joint episode of Uncut Ramblings. So Uncut Ramblings, for those of you who don't know, is the series where I ramble about any topic that interests me, not necessarily Minecraft related. By the way, this is my base and I'm proud of it.
It's very pretty.
It took a long time to build. It has a really cool roof that I'm really proud of. And this is a cool little bridge, and then that's the hub up there. Oh, I want to show you one more thing.
Sure.
Two more things. Sorry. I'm proud of this place. So I have a bubble column that goes all the way up
Right.
to the sky, and I'm going to build something up there. I just haven't done it yet. And then there's this handy little hole that leads down to this cave I've built. And then over here, we have the tunnel to the bone farm. It's nicely decorated. Not really. And then here we have the vaults that I can't get into.
Are the chests organized in any way?
Yes, the chests are kind of organized. Like, valuables in there, not so valuables in there. This is also just miscellaneous. And then here we have iron, emerald, that's redstone, diamond is here, gold is here, and then...
You should use single chests.
Yeah, but eventually, you know, wishful thinking. I'm hoping they'll fill up someday.
Alright.
And then I've got plenty of other random stuff here, but it's actually a vault. Like, you can't get through the door unless you run over the pressure plates. See? I'm stuck. It's really tight security, as you can see.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So, yeah, what are we gonna be talking about today, Wedud?
We're gonna be talking about a podcast called Welcome to Night Vale.
That is indeed what we are going to be talking about. So Wedud is the one who originally introduced me to Minecraft, and then he's also the one who originally introduced me.
Did I?
I think so. I think you were the first person I heard about it from.
Oh, okay, that's fun.
Or maybe it was. See, I can't remember because there's you, but there's also I have another friend who also listens to the podcast.
I don't think I introduced you to it because
Okay.
I may have talked about it before when you were around, but I don't think I told you to listen to it because I don't really tell people much about it anymore.
I think I heard about it from you.
Okay, sure.
I think so. I don't know. Anyway, we both listen to this podcast that I've recently gotten into and that he has been listening to for how long?
I think 2012-ish, 2013.
2013. When did it start again? It's been going for like 7 years now.
It's been going. I was in like the first or second year of it, honestly.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
I've been listening for a long time, and I went to see a live show too.
Yeah, they do live shows.
Back in 2014,
That's
I think,
awesome.
2015 maybe.
I don't know how common it is for podcasts to do live shows like that. Is that a thing a lot of
It's actually
podcasts
kind
do?
of relatively common. I have a lot of podcasts that I listen to, and most of the bigger ones will do live shows as well.
Cool. Yeah, so this podcast, Welcome to Night Vale, did a live show. They've done a lot of live shows. But
They do them every year or so.
I saw one recently as well. I got a hoodie that says Welcome to Night Vale World Tour on it. It's really cool. I wear that hoodie a lot and people compliment me on it. It's neat.
People ask, what's Night Vale?
Some people ask and some people know. It's cool to meet the ones who know because I'm like, hey, that's a cool person right there. You're a cool person in my book if you know what Welcome to Night Vale is. So for any of y'all listening out there who know what Welcome to Night Vale is, you're a cool person. Which of these tunnels am I mining in? I've dug so many strip mine tunnels, and I can't remember.
So, Jessica, when did you get into Welcome to Night Vale exactly?
I got into Welcome to Night Vale in December of last year, and then I really got into it in like probably like February/January of this year. I just started absolutely tearing through the episodes, and I got through every episode in their catalog at the time, which for reference they have like 150 episodes. I think it's more now, but
They're a little over that now.
That was about how many they had. I got through every single episode in about 3 months, and that was partly because I was really into it and I just couldn't stop. I just was totally binging it.
It's a pretty short podcast too. Like they're like 25 minutes, 30 minutes max.
Yeah, comparatively. I mean, to some people that's pretty long. To me, that was pretty long.
For a podcast, pretty short.
Most podcasts are like
an hour.
Yeah.
Some are multiple hours.
Yes, some are multiple hours. So then that put things into perspective. But yeah, I was also trying to listen to all of them before I went to see the live show. And so that's also why I was rushing. But yeah, I listened to every single episode. Have you caught up? Whoops.
I'm about 5 episodes behind.
Okay.
And
there's some fun recent episodes.
Yeah. Every time I talk to somebody who listens to Welcome to Night Vale, they are either horribly behind or just barely behind. And I'm currently in that just barely behind stage.
Yeah, most of my friends are horribly behind. A lot of my friends in college now are like horribly behind, but they listened to the first like 20 or 50 episodes, and I'm like, that's respectable, I guess. I keep throwing my pickaxe. Okay, sorry, hang on, my mom just texted me.
Sure, I can talk for a bit. Yeah, I mean, I've been into Welcome to Night Vale for a while, and I started listening, I think, before high school, really. And so I've actually met a couple of different friends because of Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh, that's cool.
One person that I dated, I actually met because I liked Welcome to Night Vale, and I knew they did, so I went and talked to them about it.
Oh, that's really neat.
Which is fun.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, I didn't bring any coal. Why do I always do this to myself? I don't have any torches. Oh, well, it's fine. I'll be mining in the dark.
I've re-listened to Welcome to Night Vale a couple times in the past. But it's been a long time since I did that.
Yeah. That makes sense. So yeah, why do you like Welcome to Night Vale?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of just something that I'm just into nowadays because I've just been into it for a long time, and it's something that I enjoy. It's interesting. I like the connecting stories. Is definitely something that I find really cool. I really more and more I appreciate the weather in it because it's just a way to introduce me to just music that I wouldn't listen to otherwise, and just like very unique stuff, very indie stuff.
For those of you who haven't listened to the podcast, maybe we should mention what exactly
Maybe we should mention what it is. Yeah.
So Welcome to Night Vale is basically the story. The idea is that it is a radio show. It's a radio station in this small town in the middle of the desert, somewhere in the United States.
It is somewhere in
the American Midwest.
Yeah. Right? The American Southwest? I believe.
I get those two mixed up.
I don't actually remember where it is, but it's somewhere in America that doesn't actually have a desert. So like the Southwest actually does have a desert, but really? It's somewhere.
I thought it was actually in a place that has a desert.
Maybe not. Actually, I don't know. It's in the middle of a fictional town in America,
and the fictional town is
in that town, I think the start of it was kind of something where all conspiracy theories are true.
Yes, the idea is that all conspiracy theories are true, and so it's this very...
Nothing is too ridiculous.
Yes, it's this very weird place. That's the word that is primarily associated with Night Vale, really, is just weird.
But it's also, in the town of Night Vale, they kind of just expect it all to be weird, and they're fine with it being weird.
So there are
it's just another day in Night Vale.
Yep. Everything is normal in Night Vale. Or that's how... Never mind. That's spoilers. Never mind.
Yeah. And then the weather is something that happens in it, which is the radio broadcaster, whose name is Cecil, he will say, "And now the weather," as like you would on like a normal radio show.
Except the weather is always a song instead of like
It's
a
a
weather
song
report.
by some artist that the people who make the podcast. The weather is submitted by random people, and it is one that the person who makes the podcast liked enough to just put there. So
Yeah.
it's just unique. It's never something that you've really heard before, generally.
Generally, yeah. Although some people will go, "Oh, finally a weather I knew." I'm like, I've never heard this. I don't think I knew any of the weathers before hearing
The
them.
creators of the podcast also do a couple of the weathers on their own for like
yes.
some of the special ones.
Yeah, well, yeah, Joseph Fink has done 2.
Yes.
Those are the only ones, as far as I know.
Yeah. I think something that I really like about Night Vale as well is they do a really good job with like representation of certain minorities. Like they have a lot of queer characters, which is really cool, and they do a very good job of showing that in a positive light.
Yeah, it's a really fun way of representing those minorities.
Yeah.
It's a very
It's very naturally done as well.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a, I don't know, the whole world is just wonderful. The whole Night Vale world. I just love it so much.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Sorry, I just got totally distracted. Okay, so is there anything in particular you want to like talk about?
I don't know.
Well,
Just I figured we could talk about Night Vale because it was something we shared.
it is.
Although it's more recent because I feel like I've been a fan for so long.
Yeah.
You've been a fan for about a year though now.
Almost a year now, I guess. Yeah, which is crazy. It's weird because it feels like it's simultaneously been a part of my life for forever, and yet it still feels so new. Like, it almost kind of feels like it's just so me in a way I can't really describe. Like, it just feels like Night Vale feels like it gets me. Perhaps more than any, like, single person gets me. Does that make any sense at all? Like, I feel at home in the world of Night Vale, if that makes any sense at all. I feel comfortable with it.
It's funny that you say that because I feel like Night Vale would be a terrible place to live because
it absolutely would.
People randomly die in it all the time.
Oh, yes.
Like, there's tons of accidents that just happen. It's
especially to the interns.
Yeah, the interns at the radio station have a habit of dying frequently.
They have it. Yes, I think there's two of them have survived an internship.
And come on to do great things.
Yes, they have. And not so great things.
Yeah, that's true.
It would certainly not be a good place to live, and yet I feel like the podcast's attitude towards life is really comforting to me, if that makes any sense at all.
What do you mean by that?
I suppose it kind of has a very what I would call nihilistic outlook.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's probably the best word.
Yeah, it has a very nihilistic outlook on life, but it's not really trying to... It's not acting like that's a bad thing. Like, we're all gonna die, but that's okay. It's not like that's a thing to be scared of. It's like that's a thing that's going to happen. And it's kind of comforting in a way for them to just say that straight. They're not trying to console you about it. They're just like, hey, this is a fact. I guess it's a way of dealing with existential dread.
Yeah, I feel like Cecil is often put into situations where he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Life-threatening situations, and then he ends up never dying from them. But he's always terrified, and then but he just kind of goes into it ready to face that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just it's a way of dealing with a lot of fears. I mean, Night Vale is you could almost call it a horror podcast, except not really. Like, it's not actually scary.
I don't think
Most of
that's
the time.
necessarily wrong to call it a horror podcast, because there's
Yeah.
definitely times when it's very frightening.
Hmm.
And I remember when I was younger and listening to it, I would get frightened a little bit.
And it's the sort of thing you don't really want to listen to in a dark room.
Yeah, it can get a little spooky sometimes.
It can. But yeah, it can get very spooky. So you know, it's a way of dealing with a lot of different fears, I guess, that otherwise would just kind of sit around in the back of my head unprocessed. So I feel like it's a way to process that. The irrational as well as the rational. I was about to say unrational, but that's not a word.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, so I find it oddly comforting to listen to, and it addresses a lot of philosophical questions that I tend to ponder. I just really like its outlook on life, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like I've never really thought of it as all that deep, really. I never put that much thought into it,
It
but
has a lot of just pure entertainment value as well.
yeah.
A lot of fun stories. And it's really fun when they like connect connect.
They have
different types of
storylines
episodes.
that
Yeah.
go for a very long time,
Oh,
and then
yes.
eventually they meet up together, and that's always very cool.
Yes, it's really cool. I mean, they'll have storylines that go on for years and years and years.
Yeah, one of my favorite episodes is one where there's just a big meeting up of a storyline, and it's a very
Which episode are we talking about?
oof. Something in the first 100 is all I can say with certainty.
So something in the first 2/3 of the podcast's back catalog.
Yeah.
Backlog.
I think it is. I'm gonna say spoilers. I guess it's. There's a point when Cecil is coming back from the desert. It's one of their first big interactions with Desert Bluffs.
Okay.
And Cecil comes back. And there's something about like the music just builds in a way that's just really cool. And he comes back from the desert and he's holding Koshak. And
Koshak?
yeah, like the cat.
Yeah, I know who Koshak is. I don't remember this.
And then I don't know. I've listened to it a couple times. I don't really know when it's from, but there's just this build up to it, and it's just very, very cool. And I just get chills every time I listen to it.
That's another thing I think they do really well is like integrating music.
Yeah.
And just timing things. Like, some podcasts I listen to on double speed just because I can get more podcasts into my day that way. But Night Vale I would never listen to on double speed simply because they time everything really well. Like, both the actors and the writers do a really good job of figuring out how to space things out so that you get the right amount of time to, like, realize something or to think about something or to slowly feel dread creep up on you.
Yeah, they definitely do a really good job of that.
Like, the timing is great, and the audio, like, the audio editing is really cool sometimes. Like, they really like to have fun with that. Even in some of the earlier episodes, they did some really neat stuff with sound effects. Like, ooh, I've just broken into a cave of some kind. And it looks like it's a cave I've already explored. Yeah, so even in some of the early episodes, they do some really neat stuff with sound effects. Like, they have this monster in the background of one of the episodes, one of the early episodes, that I believe I read in the script books was the sound of the monster was created with just a drinking straw, like rubbing a drinking straw against the side of a cup, and then they just messed with that sound. But they managed to make some really cool, like, really creepy, wacky monster sounds out of it.
That's fun.
And they like to do stuff with sound like that. Like, they'll do stuff with the actors' voices, and all sorts of things like that. And I really like their use of audio, especially since I like editing things. I like editing both video and audio, and I like to consider things from a technical point of view as well, and it's just fun to think about how they would have done those things. And it's cool how much information and how much of a story you can tell through just the audio medium. Like, you can do things that are very visual, even if you're only hearing them. Which is really cool. Whoa, I don't have any more room in my inventory. That's not good.
I've just started a raid. This is not a good idea.
Uh-oh.
Okay, where are they?
Too much stuff.
Where are the mean men?
Mean men. Oh no, I have way too much stuff. This is bad. I can leave a crafting table behind. I can actually use the crafting table to free up space. There we go. That's helpful. And the coal block. There we go. Much better.
Good thing raids are crazy easy.
Maybe if you've got OP armor, yeah.
Yeah, I do have full diamond armor and an infinity bow, but it's fine.
What level of raid were you doing?
I don't actually know. It's one of the early ones. Because, yeah, I haven't had much raiding in this.
I haven't tried fighting off a legit survival raid yet. I should do it at some point.
I have most of my villagers inside. Well, I guess that'll have to be enough.
Oh, I don't have the water bucket. Oh, that's a little bit annoying. It's fine.
Just go inside, dude. I don't want my villagers to be out and about. Please, sir, you'll get hurt.
Would you recommend Night Vale to other people?
Yeah, definitely. I think it takes a little bit of time to get into because it's a bit weird.
It is. It is definitely a bit weird. More than a bit, I would argue.
Oh, it's not so bad.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Have you heard of weirder things? You probably have, actually.
Maybe. I don't know.
Have you heard of the band Primus?
I have not.
Now
No.
that is a weird thing.
What's weird about them?
Listeners, you can go listen to the band Primus if you want, but I'm honestly not sure I would recommend it.
How would you describe their music?
Their music, the first and honestly best word I can think of to describe their music is weird. It's not weird in a creepy way, or necessarily weird in like a bad way, I guess. It's just really weird. And how can I explain this further? They're like a alternative metal band, but not really all that metal, like not very heavy. And they do really strange stuff with rhythms, and their lyrics are their lead singer has this really like strange high pitched sort of voice.
That's fun.
And
does he like scream a bunch?
No, he doesn't. The singing is just really, really odd. I don't know how I...
Like, the lyrics are weird, or what?
About this? Well, the lyrics are very, very weird, but just the sound of his voice is also very weird.
Okay.
But, like, for example, they have this one song. Well, first of all, it's in, I think, it's hard for me to tell, but I started, like, counting along, trying to figure it out. I think it's in 5/4 time, which nobody writes songs in 5/4 time. That's just bizarre. Like, nobody would do that.
I don't know what that means. Can you explain it?
It means there's 5 beats in a measure. So you know how usually you can count along to a song, and it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sure.
So for this song, you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense. And but that's not the weirdest part. The weirdest part is that the vast majority of the song is the lead singer is like this repetitive melody, and then over the top of it, the lead singer is just singing over and over again, "Here they come. Here they come."
Is this just one song, or what?
It's one song. That's basically all of it is him singing "Here they come." Here they come. Here they come. It's so weird, and it doesn't make any sense, and I don't like it. I just don't like. I don't understand why people like it, but apparently they were a really really popular band back in the day.
How did you get introduced to them?
I went to see a concert where they happened to be playing. I was not there to see them. I was
Or like
there to
the
see.
opening for, or they open for a band or
Kind
something?
of. I mean, there were a few people I think who were there just to see Primus, but they were opening for a band called Slayer that
Oh,
I was there
okay.
to see.
Slayer I've heard of.
Yes. It's funny. Some people tell me they've heard of Primus but not Slayer. Some other people tell me they've heard of Slayer but not Primus. Some people tell me they've heard of neither, and some people tell me they've heard of both.
Slayer is famous though.
Slayer are famous. That is very true, which is why I went to see them in the first place, because it was my last chance to see them, and I was like, if someday, like, I wasn't a fan of them when I heard about the concert, but I heard that it was their last concert in my state, and, you know, I knew it was my last chance, and I knew that I would never forgive myself if later on I became a fan of that band, and then thought back to the time when I had the opportunity to see them, but didn't. And I knew that I would hate myself if I didn't go, and then later regretted it, so I was like, I'm gonna go see them.
That's fair. I had at my college, they had someone famous perform. They had Lizzo perform last year.
Oh, cool.
And I was not into her at the time, so I didn't go.
Mhm.
And now I got into her, and now I'm really upset that I missed a chance to
Oh,
see her live.
yeah, that's annoying. Well, I'm sure you can, like, if you want to see her live, you'll get another chance.
I mean, if I really want to, yeah, but it would have been like a cool opportunity.
Yeah, it would have been, for sure. Yeah, it's like there's this very very little known artist, David Maximisic is who's like a I don't even know how to describe his music. Like it might fit under the very wide umbrella of progressive metal, but I'm not sure because like his music is so unique. It's like a blend of like classical like piano music and just everything you could possibly imagine. There's just such a wide variety of stuff in his music. It's amazing.
Sure.
And I saw him live at I went to see Pliny live, who's another progressive metal artist.
Right.
Um, who like Pliny got me into metal. So
Yeah, you mentioned Plenty last time we
yeah,
saw each other in person.
I've probably mentioned Pliny multiple times. I love Pliny. And so I went to see Pliny, and David Maximisic was opening for him, and I was like, oh, this guy's kind of cool. I should listen to his music, and I did, and it's like amazing. And I was like, why didn't I listen to the guy beforehand? I could have enjoyed the music so much more.
Right. Yeah.
And so now I'm tracking him on bands in town, and if he comes back to town, I'm going to be very excited, and I'm definitely going to see him. So why did we even start talking about this?
We were just talking about weirdness, and we started to talk about weird music.
Yeah. I can't see what I'm doing.
I'm still working on the raid.
No.
Oh, there's like 5 iron golems around this guy.
Just need a bucket of water. Just let me get a bucket of water, please. That's all I need, thank you. This ravine is dark and spooky.
They usually are until you light them up.
Yeah, weirdness.
Ooh, we won the raid. That was easy.
Oh, so that's another weird thing. Ooh, diamonds, yay. That's another weird thing, funnily enough, is, like, that concert. So, I like Night Vale partly because it's weird, and because I'm a weird person,
Right.
and, you know, it's weird, I'm weird. We're meant to go together.
Sure.
But at this concert, I discovered that there are in fact bad types of weird, or
Oh, boy.
I should be more specific. There are types of weird that, despite me being a weird person who enjoys weird things, I do not enjoy.
Like what?
Like Primus music.
Oh, okay.
Primus music is
Right.
really, really weird, but I don't like it. And so I guess, yeah. So that was an interesting discovery for me, I guess.
So you're saying you don't like all weird music,
I
even though
don't
you
like
like some weird stuff?
I don't like all weird stuff. Period.
Wow.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I guess Night Vale is not cool to me just because it's weird, but also because it's a specific kind of weird,
Hmm.
which was an interesting thought.
I mean, weird is a. I don't know. What does weird even mean other than unusual? Not quite what
Yes.
everything else is?
Yeah, not quite the norm, I guess.
Hmm.
I mean, Night Vale is definitely not the norm,
That's true. I mean, I don't know. It's like normal is a very weird phrase, anyways.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I don't know. I don't know exactly how to explain why I like Night Vale because of its weirdness or why I dislike Primus because of their weirdness. I
Do you
guess
think
it's
they have
just
different types of weirdness?
yes, they definitely
Or do you
do.
think that they're just different in general?
What's the difference?
I mean, one of them is a podcast that has a storyline, the other is like a musician. Like, there's a pretty weird difference in those two already.
Yeah, but I tend to. I mean, why do I like Night Vale? I like it partly because it's weird. Uh, so I don't even know what I'm trying to say, honestly.
Okay,
I feel like there's an idea here that I could explore, but I don't know how.
that's fine.
Like, just why do I like this specific weird thing, but not the other weird thing? But I don't know if you can ever, if as you pointed out, I don't know if you can really draw a direct correlation between those two things because they're different mediums. Are there other weird things that you like?
Hmm. I don't know.
I'm getting a lot of diamonds this trip.
That's fun.
This is a good mining trip. Yeah, I've just picked up 37 diamonds. That's pretty great.
I feel like some things that I've liked in the past are like some things that people consider to be weird or maybe slightly different than normal, but I never really consider liking something because it's weird or anything like that. Or like I think my taste in music tends to be a little unusual in that I've listened to some very, well, slightly obscure genres, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really care. I just kind of like whatever music I like listening to.
Yeah. Ooh, that's an interesting thing. I was talking to. So, Slayer is a metal band,
Right.
a very famous metal band. I was talking to some other metalheads at the Slayer concert, and we were talking about like the assumptions people tend to make about metalheads. People tend to think that metalheads are, or at least I feel like people tend to make assumptions about metalheads. Like people tend to assume they're very violent, scary people.
Hmm.
When that's not true at all. Like every single metalhead I've ever met is super, super nice. And we were talking about that, and the guy I was talking to was like, "Yeah, I mean, we're not violent, we're not scary, we just like music." And that basically sums it up for me. Like, we don't like the music because we're violent, scary people. We just happen to like music that is, yes, violent and scary. And that's a little weird. There goes the word weird again.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was listening to some music that was like, I don't know, some music where some guy who's depressed talks about that or whatever, or like sad boy music, really,
Sad boy
that
music.
sort of stuff. And I was talking to somebody about it, and they asked me if I was sad because I was listening to that music, and I was like, no, I just listening to it because I like that music because it sounds good.
Yeah.
You don't have to like embody the music that you're listening to. I guess that if you're feeling that way, then maybe it's helpful to you,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that's obviously something that you need if you just want to listen to music.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
It's like I don't listen to sad music because I'm sad. I listen to it because I like sad music. It's not that deep.
There's a perfectly valid reason to listen to sad music. I'm running out of space in my inventory. Gonna need to get back soon. How much battery do I have left? Do I dare check? Ooh, 26%. We should probably wrap this up soon anyway.
Okay.
I don't know how long we've been talking.
Around half an hour.
Wow. Okay, this is gonna be a long episode.
Yeah.
Well, that's impressive. We've been talking for an impressive amount of time.
There's been a bit of silence in between that, but
There
sure.
has been. Yes. But this is Uncut Ramblings. That tends to happen. When I'm thinking about stuff or just confused or just like focusing on something different for a second. So I don't know, any concluding thoughts?
Listen to weird music.
Listen to weird music. That's a good one. Go give Night Vale a shot.
Yeah, it's a good
fun.
thing. It's fun.
Welcome to Night Vale. You can get it for free on any podcast.
Wherever you listen to podcasts.
Wherever you listen to podcasts, exactly. Podcasts with an S. Night Vale also got me into podcasts.
Really?
Yeah. I wasn't a podcast listener before I started listening to Night Vale.
You know what? I think you're right. I think it's the same for me, but I've also been listening to podcasts for like
a lot longer.
Close to a decade now, so
Sheesh. It's a gateway podcast. Be careful.
I guess it really is. Careful out there, kids.
Don't go getting into gateway podcasts.
You start with Welcome to Night Vale, and then next you know you'll be listening to like Critical Role or something.
I subscribed to Critical Role, and then I was like, actually, this is really, really long, and I'm not sure I have
the reason I will never commit to Critical Role or even start it is because it has like 3-hour-long episodes, and they're every week, and I do not have time for that.
I don't think I have time for that either.
Night Vale has like 25-minute episodes every 2 weeks, and that's just fits into my schedule.
It fits perfectly, yep, exactly.
That said, I am 5 episodes behind, but it's fine.
You should listen to them. They've had some really.
I will catch up.
Storyline. It's a fairly short little story arc. I think they just finished it, unless they're gonna bring it back later. But it's nice. Oh, have you listened to their anniversary episode yet? You know, they always post an anniversary episode every anniversary.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that one was really good.
What was it?
It was wacky. Episode 150, I think.
Oh, then I do think I did. Maybe let me check.
The one where a big the description is a big change comes to the town of Night Vale, and a big change does come to the town of Night Vale in that episode.
I listened to it. Oh yeah. I listened to it. Yep.
Yes. Okay. No spoilers here, but get to episode 150.
Get to episode 100. That's one of my favorites.
Episode 100 is, I think, everyone's one of everyone's favorites.
That's one of those where there's just a slow realization as the story goes on
of what's happening.
Yeah, and it's really wonderful. And it's just
such a fun realization. It's so wonderful. Several of my friends had that spoiled for them.
Oh, that's too bad.
That completely ruins the fun of it. Completely ruins it. So do everything you possibly can to not get episode 100 spoiled for you if you decide to listen to this.
Just listen really fast to get to 100 very quickly.
Yeah. But yeah, like, go listen to Night Vale. It's a really great podcast, and you will not regret it, and you will probably start listening to other podcasts and then realize that we have made a positive change to your life forever.
Listen to My Brother and Me. It's a good podcast.
I've never heard of that one. Oh, I think I have, actually. What can I get rid of? I could get rid of this almost completely depleted iron axe, but the hoarder within me does not want to do that. I should get rid of something. I never use redstone. I should probably craft out my redstone and then get rid of the rest. Where did I even come from? How did I get in here? Oh, there. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's all I've got.
Okay. Very cool. Do you want to do more of these, Wedud?
Sure, why not?
Cool. We'll have some different topics to discuss. So yeah, I think occasionally Wedud and I will do like a joint episode of Uncut Ramblings in addition to the solo episodes I've been doing now for a while. I hope you're still continuing to enjoy this series. It's really fun for me to do. And it's also, I will confess, easy for me to do. This is something I talked about in the first episode of Uncut Ramblings. The reason I started this series is because I'm in college now and I don't have time every week to make a full, like, fully edited video about something new. So I just make Uncut Ramblings videos about things I can just ramble about. And typically they've got some good stuff in them, I think, because like they are topics I've thought about for a while, but I don't I don't have to edit them, and that takes a lot of time. So it's useful. But hopefully y'all are enjoying these as well, and I hope you enjoyed this episode with Wedud. So let me know if you want to see, well, or hear more of this, I guess. And yeah, anything else?
Nah.
All right. Well, this has been Jessicat. This has been Uncut Ramblings with Wedud, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye.